While the health department led from the forefront, all other departments played strong supportive roles. Revenue, police, LSG rose to the occasion by taking up appropriate and relevant roles in all the non-treatment areas of COVID-19 such as enforcement, community kitchen, quarantine centers, screening, elderly care, and all allied matters. The Revenue Department has been playing an important role in the mitigation of COVID-19 pandemic by way of coordinating all the activities necessary for managing and controlling the COVID-19 pandemic at the district level. Tehsildars were appointed as incident commanders at taluk level, and they performed all the activities such as setting up of control room, general observation, data collection and follow-up action, identification of building for CFLTC, welfare of guest workers very effectively. The local self-governments have played a critical role in the containment of COVID-19. They have coordinated the field work of community surveillance, supported people in home isolation or quarantine, ensured regular supply of food and medicines, managed community kitchens during the lockdown period, conducted strong IEC campaigns, and are now managing the COVID first-line treatment centers and the domiciliary care centers. They have made substantial contributions in the overall effort to combat the pandemic. The efforts of the police department also have been quite valuable. They played an important role in enforcement of lockdown measures, ensuring social distancing at public places, ensuring that people follow quarantine and isolation. The police ably assisted the district administration in successfully maintaining containment zones. In the wake of the adverse impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economic as well as social sectors of the state, my government has implemented several economic measures for providing relief to various sectors of the state economy. A package of rupees 20,000 crores was announced, which included payment of various types of arrears, front-loading of entitlements, and interest-free consumption loans to the poor through Kutum Shri. From September 2020 onwards, the welfare pension amount has been enhanced to 1,400 rupees per month. It has been further hiked to 1,500 rupees per month from January 2021 onwards. The total financial commitment on account of the disbursement of welfare pension during the current financial year will be around 8,000 crore rupees. My government also disbursed 1,000 rupees to each member beneficiary of all welfare fund boards functioning in the state. An amount of 355.39 crore rupees has been disbursed to 31.68 lakh beneficiaries under various welfare fund boards through direct benefit transfer. Free ration worth 300 crore rupees was distributed to all families affected by COVID-19 pandemic. My government has decided to provide supply of essential article kits to all ration card holders through the public distribution system outlets. This is still continuing. The monthly financial commitment for this is around 400 crore rupees. These kits consist of essential food grains, pulses, cleaning materials, and other necessary items. The government of Kerala undertook the mammoth exercise of providing food and essentials to 84 lakh families. This was extremely beneficial during the lockdown period. Special kits were distributed during the festival seasons. This was an important measure that my government took to ensure food security to all sections of the population during these difficult times. The contribution of the Food and Civil Supplies Department in successfully undertaking this massive task deserves a special mention. The service provided by the staff of Kerala State Road Transport Corporation during the pandemic is praiseworthy. The corporation ran a stream of services to all parts of the state, ferrying Pravasi passengers returning to Kerala from abroad to quarantine centers in a seamless operation that was appreciated by one and all. The implementation of a new scheme, Chief Minister's Entrepreneurship Development Program, to encourage entrepreneurship in the state is underway. The scheme has set a target of financing 1,000 units annually with totaling to 5,000 units in the next 5 years. The total fund requirement for providing loans under the program is 1,500 crore rupees, which would be raised by Kerala Financial Corporation. Similar programs have also been launched by other industrial promotion agencies and Kerala Bank. Kutumshree is also undertaking a 4,000 crore rupees package to ease the difficulties inflicted by COVID-19 pandemic. It is providing 2,000 crore rupees to Kutumshree neighborhood groups in a scheme named Chief Minister Sahayata Hastam Loan Scheme. With the help of Kerala State Financial Enterprises, Kutumshree is currently in the process of providing laptops worth rupees 2,000 crores to students to make online education more effective in the backdrop of the pandemic. My government can justifiably be proud of the achievement of the smooth conduct of the elections to the local government institutions, despite the constraints imposed by the pandemic. I congratulate all the personnel involved in this exercise, which has again demonstrated the efficiency and commitment of the administrative machinery of the state. The work done by my government has received national and international recognition. Kerala ranks first among all states of the country in the Sustainable Development Goals Index prepared by Niti Aayog. The SDG Index intends to provide an aggregate assessment of states and union territories, indicating the social, economic, and environmental status of these states. Kerala has been ranked first in the first and second SDG Index of 2018 and 2019. Kerala has been adjudged the best governed state in the country in the Public Affairs Index 2020 prepared by Public Affairs Center. This is the third time the state has stood first in the country. The health sector has been acclaimed nationally and internationally in its efforts to improve infrastructure and service delivery. The initiatives of my government, spearheaded by the Health Department in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic, have been recognized globally. Kerala is the only state to have reduced the infant mortality rate, which is now equivalent to many countries of the developed world. The state won the Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan Award 2019 for the state with the least maternal mortality rate. The top 12 family health centers in the National Quality Assurance Standards are from Kerala. 55 family health centers from the state received NQAS accreditation. The state won the National Award for the empowerment of the differently abled in the year 2019. The Kerala State Handicapped Welfare Corporation was selected as the best state channelizing agency by National Handicapped Finance and Development Corporation. The Responsible Tourism Mission and Tourism Department received several international awards, such as the World Travel Market and Asia Pacific Travel Association. The Smart Bus Initiative, launched as part of the Seamless Transportation System for Kochi Transport Integration Project, won the Best Urban Bus Service Award at the Urban Mobility India Conference organized by Union Ministry for Housing and Urban Affairs. The state again ranked first in the National School Education Index by Niti Aayog. The COVID pandemic has resulted in serious economic disruption affecting both the supply and demand sides of the economy. The result has been collapse in the aggregate demand in the economy, resulting in the severe economic contraction. According to International Monetary Fund, the economic contraction in the first quarter was severest in India, with an economic collapse of 23%, while the global average was around minus 10%. There has been a recovery in the economic growth during the second quarter, but the contraction persisted at 7.5%. According to RBI, the overall economic growth in 2021 is expected to be negative at around 7.5%. My government is of the opinion that the response of the Government of India to economic collapse has been inadequate in terms of the net additional overall budgetary expenditure, and particularly the expenditure for relief and health care. The reluctance to pay the GST compensation in full created an avoidable controversy during the crisis. Even now, for the full compensation, the states have to wait till 2023. The additional borrowing permitted for the states has been subjected to conditions which is also unprecedented. The economic decline has impacted unemployment and reduced participation rate to alarming level, as against global average of 66%. India's participation is only 40%. The Global Hunger Index has ranked India at 94 amongst 107 countries. In contrast to the growing hunger index, India's 50 richest people grew wealthier by 14% during the current year so far. The inequalities have widened. It has been the endeavor of my government to swim against the above trend. The central government has been systematically increasing the additional special excise duty of petroleum products so as to harness the entire potential surplus created by declining international oil prices. The additional special excise duty on diesel has increased by 9 times and petrol by 3.5 times. Now that crude oil prices are firming up, the central government is now enhancing the additional special excise duty so that the oil companies are raising the retail prices for maintaining their margin. As the result, fuel prices are rising, contributing to inflation. Thus, we have a situation of rising prices along with severe economic stagnation. Another adverse impact to the state finances is that additional special excise duties, which are being continuously hiked, do not form part of the divisible pool of taxes shareable with the states as per the recommendations of the Finance Commission. There has been also a spate of central legislations whose common denominator my government holds is abridgment of state rights. The latest in the series have been controversial labor code and agrarian laws. There has been an all-India strike of the workers, which is one of the largest of its kind, against the new labor bills. These agrarian laws will undermine regulated markets, result in eventual demise of minimum support price, and tilt the balance of bargaining power definitively in favor of corporate middlemen. Kerala, being a consumer state, is also going to be adversely affected by the amendment of Essential Commodities Act 1955 and the resultant hoarding and profiteering. Agriculture and allied sectors. Crops. The withdrawal of import duty and regional trade agreements have proved calamitous for our commercial crops, and their relative prices have continued to decline, creating severe income loss for the farming community. The central government has refused to give any additional support for our commercial crops, whose crisis is a direct outcome of the central government policies. The strong protest has compelled the central government not to join the regional comprehensive economic partnership for the time being. My government feels that Kerala has to be unitedly vigilant against any further regional trade agreements that undermine our agriculture, and also persuade the central government to provide at least a partial support to our rubber growers. Subhiksha Keralam campaign was launched by the Agriculture Department in association with 9 other departments to ensure food security to mitigate the COVID-19 crisis. It seeks to bring the fallow lands under food cultivation and achieve self-sufficiency in vegetables, egg and milk production, and enhance fish production. Block-level knowledge centers were started in 152 blocks to provide technical support to farmers under this campaign. The Subhiksha Keralam campaign will be converted into a scheme with separate budget provision to provide permanent support to the farming community. Jeevani, Our Farming, Our Health campaign was launched on January 1st, 2020. Jeevani Kerala Farm Fresh Fruits and Vegetables Base Price is a new scheme for procurement of 16 selected vegetables and fruits at a minimum base price, remunerative to farmers. This scheme is the first of its kind in the whole nation and will help protect farmers from price fluctuations. Vegetable cultivation has witnessed a quantum jump, with total area under cultivation reaching an all-time record with a total production of 15 lakh tons. Credit-linked projects taken up by youth and NRI returnees will be provided financial assistance bearing a portion of the project cost along with an interest subsidy component. Additional interest subvention is proposed under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund of Government of India. Other components proposed are assistance for credit-linked agricultural projects taken up by youth clubs and Karshika Sanchayika program to develop interest in farming and also develop saving mentality among students. The rain shelter project, which is also part of the 12-point project, has exceeded the 1,000 units target with a total of 1,333 shelters constructed across the state. a massive fruit tree planting program of 1 crore saplings a year has been launched. Agriculture Department has estimated a survival rate of nearly 80%. Local government and Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme play important role in the implementation of this program. A new focal point of intervention in the agriculture sector is the promotion of value-added products through micro, small and medium enterprises units. Besides Agriculture Department, cooperatives, Kutum Shri, district industrial centers and local government are involved in this ambitious program, which would generate rural employment and provide additional income to farmers. Animal husbandry is an important source of supplementary income for farming community. Livelihood support scheme under Rebuild Kerala initiative at the cost of 77 crore rupees for supporting the farmers in the animal husbandry sector is being implemented. Mobile tele-veterinary units on regional basis for providing 24 hours veterinary service to farmers at their doorstep is being extended to 77 talukas. Self-sufficiency in milk, meat and eggs is also being strived for. New entrepreneurs and farmers are being encouraged through the Animal Resource Development Scheme by providing assistance for undertaking new ventures in the animal husbandry sector, especially in the areas of commercial goatry, male calf fattening units, etc. The veterinary institutions which are providing round-the-clock service are being enhanced by upgrading them with additional shifts. This will be done as part of comprehensive reorganization of the Animal Husbandry Department in a farmer-friendly manner. Measures will be taken to handle the crisis of excess milk in Malabar region and to stabilize the dairy sector in the state. In the interest of farmers and manufacturers, there is a need for appropriate regulation which would protect the interest of the stakeholders against distribution of substandard feed and other feed in the state. For this purpose, a new Cattle Feed Act for the state, the Kerala State Livestock and Poultry Feed and Mineral Mixture will be enacted. My government passed the Kerala Fish Auctioning, Marketing and Maintenance of Quality Ordinance 2020, which aims to ensure availability of good quality fish in the domestic market to provide nutritionally enriched food to the population, thereby enhancing per capita consumption of fish and ensuring health security. A strict emphasis will be given for hygienic handling of fish, marketing, storage, value addition and development of the total value chain for assuring quality fish to the consumers and ensuring fair price to the fishermen. My government will assist the fishermen for the upgradation of their existing fish boats, incorporating on board slurry ice units and bio toilets for improving the quality of fish for meeting the export quality standards. As part of my government's prestigious fishermen rehabilitation project, Punargraham, with an outlay of 2,450 crore rupees, rehabilitation of 18,685 families residing within 50 meters of high tide line to safe locations will be completed by 2022.